Namaste. Welcome. For today, let's talk about the Vayus. Vayus could be technical and theoretical concepts, and it's really a vast and complex topic. So let me talk about this in simple terms and relate them to the elements close to us. Yeah, elements that we normally and commonly practice in the Hatha Yoga method. But I have to emphasize though, and this is as important as the elements that I will discuss, is that the management of the Vayus would have to be taken holistically. Not just the observances we do on the mat, but also outside our lifestyle in general, because it involves our food, our diet, the supplements and vitamins we take, and the other ways of physical activities we do to supplement our health and wellness, as well as our stress levels, not just from work, not just from home, not just from school, but the stress we inflict ourselves unknowingly through our practice. So we have to balance all of this, and also the way we feel, the way we think, and the way we process the information. If we are holding too much there, we need to drain it there. So all of this would have to be considered as well, as part of a holistic approach to managing the flow of the Vayus to our system. All right, now, but for today, let's zero in on how we could appreciate the practices we do in the Hatha Yoga method of the asanas, the breathing works, and the meditation for us to produce and then flow and then maintain and then finally to drain the excess Vayus out of our system. So let's appreciate the hard work that we do. All right. So where do the Vayus come from? Generally, normally they are part of our autonomic function. So the energy coming from the food we eat, the water and the oxygen. So our system processes the energy, and then they break down into really tiny components, gaseous component, combination of nitrogen and oxygen, the minor gases, the carbon and the oxygen, so the nitric oxide and the carbon dioxide. So our cells produce them, and they flow through a system to do different functions. Really different functions, autonomic functions. Functions of our respiratory system, functions of the circulatory system. The Vayus are the reason why we're drinking. The Vayus are the reason why our heart beats. They are the reason why we can digest the food all the way to elimination. The Vayus drain excess energy by sweating the excess energy out, to promote that optimal temperature inside the body. Also, production of saliva, our burping. All of these are manifestations of the Vayus, dissolving or draining out of the system. Right. Imbalances of the Vayus could cause physical illnesses, even serious conditions. Ideally, we should maintain a healthy flow of Vayus to our system, but it's not always like that. This is now when the role of a holistic practitioner and counselor would play an important role. Because, for example, your student is not practicing yoga, then you should approach the issue from the other observances I've just mentioned. All right. But when it comes to Hatha Yoga method, there are ways and means, and these ways and means are just very close to us. We're doing them already. So we could, using those elements of asanas, breath regulation and meditation, store more energy inside our energetic pathways, so we could supplement. We have that buffer. So in times of physical illness, if the body is weak, if our organs are weak, then they replenish the lost energy, and then we could function healthily while we are recovering, and then prevent us from getting sick as well. All right, so way and beyond what our body can sustain and flow the energy. Right. As practitioners of Hatha Yoga method, our bodies, our energetic channels are much more open. Definitely. Right. And then this is now when the healing benefit of the practices that we do, the health and wellness benefit of the practices that we do would really be appreciated. All right. The asanas open the body, definitely. So aside from us becoming strong and supple and mobile, inside the energetic pathways, we initiate the opening of our nadis. We call them energetic channels, right? And then adding the breath regulation that we would practice in the future, then definitely we will be able to retain the breath. Of course, many breath regulation exercises, they require some breath retention, and that process of combining the asana and the breath regulation exercises will lead to us to efficiently process and retain more abundant flow of energy inside. All right, that's one of the tenets of breath regulation. As we retain the breath, we let the nadis inside the system collect, and process and store more energy inside our energetic system, our nadis. I really truly believe that way and above what is commonly given to us, there's more. There's more. We might just be using maybe a bit of the potential of the energy, maybe 10-20%, but we could access its higher function. And this energy is what we call the prana. The prana, which is ever present, both living and non-living creature. For us human beings, this prana is contained with this, that inspiring, the gaseous air called oxygen that we allow to enter the body through the process of inhalation. And then for the vegetation, the energy comes from us and the carbon dioxide that we expel. So it's a give and take process. And that's a cycle of the energy. We depend on them and they depend on us. So if you take a look at this concept of the Vayus from that spiritual perspective, it's really very beautiful. All right, now this oxygen that we allow to enter the body, it holds the healing force. And as we process that breath, after our inherent function is finished collecting what we need, all right, then our nadis, through the utilization of the bandhas, would be able to, get more out of that breath, so we could store more energy. And then when the energy goes inside the nadis, they flow in different parts of the body. We have nadis all around the system. We have many thousands, and they are located throughout the body. And then this big chunk of energy called prana, when it enters the body, and as we retain the breath, the nadis absorb the energy. And then we have nadis here. And then the nadis here regulate the flow of the first Vayu. So we have 5 actually. So from this big chunk, it breaks down into 5 major Vayus. And then the Vayus that flow here, the head region, is what we call the prana Vayu. It's at the top. So it supports the rest of our system. And energetically, this Vayu, the prana Vayu, has an inward flow. So it enters. So systematically, the prana Vayu promotes functions of the head, functions of the brain, the eyes, the ears, around memory, processing the information, retaining the information, and learning as well. All right. So when it comes to asanas, when it comes not just to asanas but the elements in the practice, what are ways and means for us to take care of the Vayus here, promote and maintain healthy flow, and then later on drain, because too much of the Vayus inside here is not good as well. So elements, for example, of relaxation. Relaxation drains excess Vayu out of the system. Meditation, it really harms the concentration. So we reinforce and we strengthen the nadis there, so they could retain, they could process more Vayus for here. Prayer, silent prayer, really very, very powerful. All right. And then just by thinking the beauty of your everyday encounters, how ugly they may be, there's always a beauty in everything that we experience. So something like that. Yeah, so it's mostly the meditative part of the practice. And asanas, there are some, like for example, inversions or shavasana, or some restorative ones as well. All right. So below the head, we have what we call the Udana Vayu. It's around the neck and the throat region. And energetically, it has an upward flow. Upward. Yeah, so it has this way of releasing, and then it goes out of this in the mouth. And spiritually, it's a seed for our spiritual growth. Right. So what we think normally manifests as words and actuations. So it's really very powerful. Words are potent. And aside from promoting the health of our throat, it's also the seed for communication as well, relationship as well. So this is really very powerful. So aside from emotional blockages, too much of the Vayus here could result to being over passionate about things, which it could be a good attitude. It could also be disadvantageous. So really, by promoting a healthy flow of the Vayus here, we somehow balance the processing of our thoughts, and we restrict, or we control the words that come out of our mouths. So we promote total goodwill and welfare for everyone, so we don't hurt through our words. Yes, and of course, elements or practices that will help us promote a healthy flow of Vayus here would be asanas, for example, inversions, shoulder stands, backbends, opens here, deep shoulder stretches, as well as restorative positions where we hold the stretches long timing, especially stretches around the shoulders, around the neck, and around the upper part of our body. All right, chanting. All right, singing. All right, so I truly believe that chanting and singing, they are the highest form of prayer. So what we say, when we allow it to be heard, becomes a realization. It becomes us over and over again. Yes. What else? Breath regulation exercises, like the Ujjayi breath, and even the deep ones like the tongue kriyas, the talabya kriya, the nabhu kriya, as well as massaging tongue, and if the intuition is there, it's what we call the kachari mudra. But those could be very deep already. So simple ones, chanting, prayer, singing, exercises to open the neck and the shoulder area as well. All right, now below the Udana Vayu, we have here the thoracic region, the chest region, the center of the heart, and it's called the Vyana. Vyana Vayu. Vyana Vayu, energetically, it has a general flow. It's outward and expansive flow. It's the seat for distribution of the energy. That's why we have the heart and the lungs there, to allow the breath to flow through our system. Holds the vital organs of respiration and circulation as well. So aside from that, the Samana Vayu also promotes better immunity and better response to inflammation. All right, so what elements we could practice so we could promote healthy flow of Vayus here? Backbends when it comes to asanas, shoulder stretches, twists, as well as binding. All right, so when we wrap our limbs around our body. Breath regulation include the Ujjayi breath, the Sitali breath, like that, and even the Nadis Shodhana with or without retention. Alright, so those are a really good way for us to promote healing and abundant flow a healthy flow of Vayus to circulate around this spot of our body, the chest. And then going down, we have what we call the Samana Vayu. All right, Samana Vayu, energetically, it has a circling action, circular, like churning, like the washing machine. So obviously we have the digestion system there. So they promote healthy digestion function, and too much of the Vayus there could lead to, for example, diarrhea, and lack of Vayus flowing there could lead to digestion problem like constipation or heaviness or bloatedness. All right, and aside from the organic function, it's also the seat for physical health, muscular strength, power. All right, our confidence, the way we project ourselves outside the world, rest there spiritually. So elements which will help us promote the healthy flow of Vayus there would be those which promote muscular strength and power, standing positions, twists, backbends, core exercises, as well as breathing work such as breaths of fire, the Bastrika breath, even the deep ones such as the Uddiyana Bandha, the Agnisar Kriya, even the Nauli Kriya. So those are the practices we commonly do in the Hatha Yoga method to promote that healing and healthy flow of the Samana Vayu down the spot of our body. All right, and then below we have the fifth one. We have what we call the Apana Vayu. So Apana Vayu, energetically, it has a downward and outward flow. So it's here. All right, it's down the base of the hips, so it goes down and out. So obviously elimination, right? The releasing of our energy, not just physical energy, but also our sexual energy. So reproduction, all right, our ability to release toxin, obviously urination and the process of elimination, as well as spiritually. All right, it's the seat for foundation. That's why the practice of Hatha Yoga method, we normally start at the bottom. So we strengthen our legs, we strengthen our lower limbs, and we strengthen our pelvic floor as well. And this includes what? Hip openers, forward bends, narrow and wide forward bends, as well as mobility exercises for the hips. If you're flowing, that takes care of that. Jumping transition, arm balancing. So those are the elements which will help us promote the health of our pelvis, and thus in turn will promote the healthy flow of Apana Vayu down there. Systematically as well, the Apana Vayu, they promote better vasodilation of our blood vessels, or better circulation, to promote health and wellness of our pelvic floor and our reproductive system. Imbalances there could cause, for example, lack of it, could cause sluggishness, lack of energy, fainting, dizziness, or too much of that could cause aggressiveness, too much sexual drive, and could lead to irritability as well. So that's the 5 major Vayus coming from this big chunk of energy called the prana, or the life force. And on top of what is inherently into us, we are given this chance to harness these higher functions and be able to utilize the gift of opening the body, flowing the breath, and the meditation. So whatever we allow to enter the body, food, water, the air, even how we process and retain the information and experiences, and they affect the flow and the levels of the Vayus in our system. So by knowing their nature, where they are located, and what are the elements that could help us promote their health, then we could do it ourselves. We could recommend it to our students. So yes, that's the concept of the Vayus, Hatha Yoga practice, and some of the mat of services as well. Yes, so keep the practice going, and more benefits than health there are more benefits than the body by doing them. It really goes deep down our psyche and our energy channels as well. Until the next one. Namaste.